Hello guys, we're going to go ahead and do yet another PvZ video because PvZ is the matchup of the century apparently with just the games I get to play, and this one I thought turned out to be pretty interesting, just in terms of what happened, how it progressed, and the tech choices. Chiefly it's going to be actually kind of a help Zerg video, but you can see that it's a very powerful way to play Protoss, assuming Zerg doesn't do two things. I'll point those out later, but it's just something to keep in mind for you Zerg players out there that are having trouble in PvZ. This is going to be a very good example of just responding to the army composition that your opponent will have. So now, also just a note on scouting on Metalopolis is that you should probably scout cross map, and then you'll see that when your pylon is about to be done, you can send over a probe and just scout there to see if the Zerg is setting their overlord directly to the close air spawn, or to see where it is. And you'll see there is that overlord, and I just immediately clicked 5 and went to the main base of that close air spawn to get that fast scout that I possibly can. So here I am once again going for that 1 gate expand that I feel a lot more comfortable with than the Forge Fast expand generally. So now, right now, I can tell you right now, I'm doing my very normal PvZ opener. As you guys have, if you've seen more than one of my PvZ videos, you've seen a couple times, excluding Telegram Alter generally. But we're going to see that I'll be going for that beginning little push once again with those sentries and the Stalkers, going for that fast third. And I'm just going to try and just be pesky, delay the hatch, scout, and just be generally annoying. You can see me throwing down that pylon. And just going to start mining normally. So, tQzander was trying to be very pesky and just, I don't know, I've liked the word pesky lately, I've been using it a lot. But he's been trying to just be tricky and use those drones to take out my probe. But now I can go ahead and just send my probe somewhere else and get out my just my normal beginner cybercore, zealot, and the assimilator. Now I was focusing a little bit too much on scouting, so I did a little bit late for those, and they weren't exactly in order. But that's just something I need to work on personally. It's just my switching back and forth. You can see that I'm not terrible, in using my APM to switch screens, just generally be just active with what I'm looking for. But it's definitely something a lot of people have to work on, especially lower league players. APM is a good thing to look at, but you can't just rely heavily on APM, the stat. A better way to look at it is how many times do you switch screens to get vision of things that you have got to see. Because you'll notice there are players that have very low APM, but they switch screens a lot, so they see everything. They're looking at the minimap, they're looking at their food count, they're scanning everything as they flap around with what the screen is centered on, and it's incredibly important. It's one of the most important out-of-game resources that you can possibly have, is your eyes and where you put your eyes, which is kind of weird to sometimes think of in terms of how that can be a resource, but it really is. Okay, so now it's going to be time for me to get out my Nexus. 5 minutes on the dot this game around, which makes me feel very happy. But you can sort of just see the general progression of what I'm going to be doing. It's just gateway units, Twilight Council, Robo, more gates, fast expansion, and just be stable early on. This can be a very frustrating style for some Zergs to play against, because they're vulnerable if they try and over macro, because they're not going to get crazy ahead in terms of macro against me just because I am a very heavy macro Protoss in how I play, which is something that I really like. It gives me a little bit of an advantage in some situations, and it can really pay off, especially when you add crazy macro with this beginning push that I do. It can sometimes have the capacity to win the game, especially if I'm able to force field the ramp and continue being aggressive, because he can't move down his ramp, and especially if their macro hatch is inside their main base, then they can pretty much take out 2/3 of their larva just by having them being unable to get to their natural expansion, and it allows me to do tons of damage. So now here I am stable, and I've got my gates coming out. I'll be vulnerable for like the next 30 seconds or so, and then I'll have free warp gates out and ability to have lots and lots of force fields. So now here I am, since my probe is still alive, I can think, alright, I can start working on being able to use them, and try and just, at the very least, scout with them. So now I've got all my guys added to my hotkeys. You'll notice that I actually use shift and then hitting the number to really get my guys into the correct hotkeys. Another thing you can do when you do a push out like this, it's very, very risky if your stalkers get separated from your sentries. So you can just take your stalker, and since I have them in a separate control group, right click on your sentries, and then that will allow you to just be very, very good about keeping your stalkers with your sentries, and it takes away a huge vulnerability. Okay, and now I get to kill off a very nice overlord. If you guys can just keep an eye on your minimap and just see things that are very easily picked off, like overlords in this situation, do it. There's no reason not to. It's free damage, and it's slightly delaying my push a little bit, but it's not a big deal at all. Now I have a few more stalkers to add into it. Unfortunately, I'm supply blocked, but I'm still pretty stable. I'm going to start working on getting out Tech and Forge and all that. Unfortunately, now he sees my probe, but I'm going to actually scare him. See how I built that pylon and he left? That's kind of weird. So I can just go ahead and cancel that pylon, and he's going to think that that's going to be there for a while, and it's going to be a vulnerability, because if I'm going for something like DTs, that's a great proxy pylon to use. Okay, unfortunately, I don't know why that one statue went over there. But now he's moving over there, and I can't really take that third with him seeing that. So I'll just go ahead and throw down a few sentries. And you'll notice I'm not pushing with this. It's not meant to be a kill shot. This push is meant to scare the Zerg, take away their vision with the watchtower, and just make sure that they don't have too many drones. Every time you can limit the production of a drone, it compounds exponentially into the late game and the mid game in order to really help you out, because you're trying to make sure the Zerg doesn't get overly powerful with their economy. So I did try and go for a really early third. I don't know what I put the probe over there, like 9 minutes or something, to try and get that third. That's definitely probably too greedy. As you can see, that's that one what's it called? Zergling was able to just say no to it. But this is another thing you have to be really careful about, is the Zerg getting the gold. You can see, if you saw the pattern that I sent that second Phoenix, hallucinated Phoenix in, it goes right over the gold, and I can see if he has it, he doesn't have it, and then just go and check every single other expansion. I look around, and actually I don't think I saw any kind of Spire Tech or really anything to really worry about, just normal macro from the Zerg, which is great. I love when Zergs do that. I'm a macro player. I'm perfectly content to have my opponent go for things on those lines, because there's his third, fully functional, and you can see it's been there for a little bit. It's got creep spread all around it. That's something. There are a few things you can do actually to sort of time when your opponent got their expansions, and when you have Zerg, that would mean just basically clicking, or just looking at the creep that was spread outside of the hatchery. If it's been spread out, so there's no longer the hatchery itself, so range of spraying creep is completely filled, then you know that he's had that up for a little bit. And then when you can go in deeper and take a look at whether or not, or how much he's basically mined from those mineral patches. You click on a mineral patch, you click on a geyser, and you see what he has left. And these are just little tools to make sure that you are as knowledgeable as you can in gauging the strength of your opponent's economy. So just things to keep in mind. So now here I am working on more upgrades. That's +2. I have my +1 finished. I'm scouting around. His lair is there. It looks like he has a roach speed, but that's about it. I don't see any mutas. I don't see an infestation pit or anything. And I've got blink stalkers. I'm feeling pretty good right now. My economy is very strong. 12 minutes in, and I've fully saturated every single one of my bases, and that is great. So I'm going to start doing a little bit of a push. I'm thinking my economy is strong enough that I can support a good, healthy flow of gateway units and morals. I think he's going for roaches, judging by the fact that I've seen speed and more roaches being produced. So there are 2 Archons. I said the word about being supply blocked right now, as I've got what seems to be 4 food left, and no pylons building, I don't think. So that's something just to be aware of, and now he's going to be annoying and just have vision of my observer with his Spore Crawler and Queen attacking. Now this is something that makes me really happy. I look over there and I see that his army's just sitting there, so I'm like, perfect. My third is walled off. If he's going to go for a double prong attack, it's going to be most likely Lings, and I have cannons there. Now I can go ahead and move forward and go for a force field surround of those roaches. I have Archons, and they're great in everything PvZ. So now he's going to push that, and I'm just going to attack, cut him all in half, and just segregate everything. He's trying to be aggressive over there, but that doesn't matter. Force fields, make sure most roaches can't actually attack anything. At least that Immortal, but check this out. Stalkers attack from the high ground, why not? I have my sentries still there, guardian shields up, force fields are up, I can blink back whenever my stalkers are getting too hurt. I'm pulling back my sentries, making sure they can stay as alive as they can, and just blink micro my heart out. So now continue reinforce. Those stalkers that were in my main base, I should have blinked them down, that would have been a lot more effective, but right now I'm seeing a nice opening. I just shut down his army, and I have a fair amount of units left. I'm going to push this advantage. Okay, I have a proxy pylon over there in my main base, the safest proxy pylon you can possibly have in this situation. I'm aware of his gold, so I'm going to shut down his gold, because that gold forces Protoss to be aggressive. You cannot let a Zerg stay with that gold. So I'm going to target fire it down and just force field a little bit, but unfortunately my sentries are just right there, so they're not going to go for it. They're not going to survive. So I'm going to take down that gold and now just start blink microing my stalkers away. As individually as I can, but realistically, you have to grab two guys sometimes. Unfortunately, it's target firing, but you can see how I'm doing fairly well in terms of keeping my stalkers alive, just bringing back the very, very hurt guys. So I'm definitely feeling good, and plus, look at how huge my economy is. I'm warping in fairly well and keeping on top of everything, but I have so many minerals right now. I'm supply blocked. I need to build some more pylons and everything, but I am in a perfect position right now. This game could not have gone more in my favor, especially with my plan that I had. This is great for me. So now we're just continue being aggressive. I see him getting corruptors. I think he just metagamed me, trying to think, oh, he probably has a Colossus. Now here we go. This is like one of the happiest moments whenever games like this happen. He's trying to target fire some of my stalkers down there, but I can just blink and just keep everything as pretty much just alive. And you can see how I have so many stalkers at the end of this, and I just continue attacking. I'm just going to warp in a huge another full round, and I send a probe for my fourth base to try and get that up, but do you really think I'm going to actually need a fourth? I'm getting my +3 attack now, and I've got a huge amount of blink stalkers over here. It looks like my what's it called? Observer got killed, but do you see how that just went? Let's take a look at the scores for fun, but I don't remember what it was. And it is, yeah, so it's closer than I think. But now, a couple things I do want to point out for you Zerg players out there that are watching this and being frustrated. It's not something to be frustrated about. I was pure blink stalker. You saw tQzander had the infestation pit there, so he had the capability to get infestors, and he had speedlings. That's very much, very, very, very good. Plus, he had a Hydra tech. You didn't get to use it very well, but all you need are 3 or 4 infestors, a bunch of lings, and hydras in the situation that you just saw. Because if he lands 3 fungals in different spots of my stalkers, they need that blink. Stalkers are squishy against hydras, and squishy against lings, and squishy to fungal growth. If you can manage to really deal damage, by getting good fungals off and links around, not even links around, but just frontal link attack and frontal hydra attack, you put me in a bad position because my stalkers are gone, and that is my entire army. And stalkers in those kind of numbers, losing them are incredibly expensive. They cost 125 minerals and 50 gas. Multiply that by the 30 stalkers I had. If they're gone and you don't take that much damage, you can double expand and attack, and you'll probably win. It forces me to be very, very turtly, and you can start being pesky. You can switch to mutas and harass. You can start doing things like getting that gold back up again, and just continuing to attack and attack and attack. Force me to stay on those 3 bases, shut down that 4th I was just taking, and I am done. Absolutely done. No chance whatsoever of what I could be able to do. So just keep that in mind for you Zerg players. This is a very fun situation for me. I love blink stalkers. Their micro is so much fun. So when I can get away with doing something like that, I will. I will leap at that opportunity any second. And then games like this will happen. So just keep that in mind, Zerg players, Protoss players. Be wary when you go stalkers because of what I was just talking about. And hopefully you guys can actually learn from this and just see openings for your own play and improve. So thank you very much, and I'll get some more videos out soon. I think making 3 or 4 videos in this one day is enough, and thank you for watching.